report or a statement on Wednesday by the United Nations said the decision was due to critical funding shortfalls, which come at a time of escalating violence and record levels of hunger in the country. It said that without immediate funding, millions of vulnerable people will face impossible choices, such as enduring increasingly severe hunger, migration, or possibly risk exploitation by extremist groups in the region. Nearly 31 million people in Nigeria are now facing acute hunger, a record number, according to the United Nations World Food Programme. The heart of Zamfara's capital stood still on Wednesday as hundreds of frustrated and grieving residents poured into the streets to raise the alarm over what they described as daily mass killings by bandits in Gusau local government area. The demonstrators appeared on foot, motorcycles and inside vehicles. They blocked key roads leading into Gusau for over 2 hours. Chanting sorrowful protest songs and waving placards, they demanded an urgent response from the state government to the unchecked violence that has plagued their villages for months. Some of the placards bore chilling inscriptions like, "We the people of about 30 communities of Gusau need peace and want to be rescued from bandits." Others read, "Peace is our concern as we are being killed every day." While others read, "End banditry in Mada, Lilo, Ruwanbore, Fegin, Baza, Bangi and others." Many protesters say they came from villages now considered uninhabitable due to frequent attacks. Abdullahi, a farmer and businessman, said he had not only lost family members but also suffered massive financial losses. According to him, bandits looted 500 bags of fertilizer from his shop, each worth 65,000 naira, amounting to more than 1 million naira in damages. Protesters also lamented that they could no longer go to their farms despite the ongoing rainy season. After the killings, they said the attackers have destroyed homes and food supplies, leaving them in hunger and fear. While the protests remained peaceful and no property was damaged, several of those who took part vowed not to return to their communities unless the government responds swiftly and decisively to their demands. The Nigerian Senate was thrown into turmoil on Wednesday evening when a closed-door session erupted into a heated altercation between Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senate Leader Bamidele, nearly resulting in a physical confrontation. The clash occurred during an executive session convened to decide whether to adjourn the current legislative sitting this week or next, ahead of the Senate's traditional 2-month recess. According to sources, sharp disagreement over the timing of the adjournment exposed deep divisions within the chamber's leadership. Senator Ali Ndume reportedly sparked the tension by criticizing the Senate leadership for failing to convene a pre-session meeting to align their positions. He noted that such disorganization was unacceptable and urged the leadership to act with greater unity and coordination. Ndume's remarks appeared to trigger underlying tensions, prompting Senate leader Bamidele to openly criticize Akpabio's leadership style, a move that escalated into a shouting match between the two top lawmakers. President Bola Tinubu has forwarded another request to the House of Representatives seeking approval for an additional $347 million loan, citing a hike in the cost of the controversial Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. The new request is part of adjustment to the 2025-2026 external borrowing plan. It was read on the floor of the House on Wednesday by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. According to the letter, the total cost of the coastal highway rose from $700 million to $747 million. President Tinubu argued that the reviewed borrowing plan was informed by fresh economic assessment and a reassessment of national development targets such as employment generation, skill empowerment, entrepreneurship promotion, and poverty alleviation. He noted that $300 million is needed for the Nigerian Universal Communications Access Project, a landmark telecommunications initiative aimed at bridging the digital divide through the deployment of 7,000 telecommunication towers across hard-to-reach rural dwellings. This marks the third major foreign loan request since President Tinubu assumed office in May 2023. In November 2023, he asked for $7.8 billion and 100 million euros to bankroll infrastructure and social programs. Then in March 2025, President Tinubu submitted another request of $21.5 billion in foreign loans and 757.9 billion naira through domestic bonds to settle unpaid pension liabilities. Nigeria's growing appetite for borrowing has continued to stir public concern, with critics warning about long-term economic implications. As of March 2025, the Debt Management Office pegged the country's total public debt at 121 trillion naira, approximately $91 billion. You're listening to the World News at 12 and Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll now take the news from our sister station, Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja.
Good afternoon. Here are the major news. I am Folashayo Adigun. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on the contractor handling the construction of the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal complex to expedite work and make the September 2025 completion deadline. Wike made the appeal on Wednesday during an inspection visit to the project site in Akpabio, Jabi district. According to a statement by Rabiu Musa Umar, Assistant Director Press Office of the FCT Minister, the visit was part of Wike's ongoing review of key infrastructure projects across the territory. Clearly displeased with the slow pace of work, the minister emphasized the urgency of completing the project on time, assuring that funding would not hinder progress. When asked by journalists if the deadline was still achievable, Wike expressed concern but remained cautiously optimistic. He also cautioned against vague terms like enough funding, reminding the contractor of their earlier commitment to deliver by the agreed date. The House of Representatives has reaffirmed its commitment to judicial reform and the timely delivery of justice in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Lawmakers made this known on Wednesday during a public hearing on two key bills aimed at overhauling the territory's judicial system. Chairman of the House Committee on Judiciary (FCT) Adamu Gamawa said one of the bills seeks to amend the constitution to increase the number of judges in the FCT, while the other proposes the establishment of lower courts with jurisdiction over civil and criminal matters. Gamawa emphasized the 10th House's dedication to ensuring equal and affordable access to justice for all, stressing that the reforms would strengthen the judiciary, ease the workload on current judges, and boost public confidence in the legal system. Speaker of the House of Rep. Abbas Tajuddin, represented by Deputy Minority Leader Aliu Madaki, described the hearing as a crucial step towards comprehensive judicial reform. He reiterated the House's firm resolve to uphold the rule of law and improve the justice delivery framework. The Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with MAG International Links Limited for the development of City Walk Abuja, a project inspired by the world-renowned City Walk Dubai. Speaking at the signing ceremony in Abuja on Wednesday, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike said the project would span about 200 hectares and feature a blend of residential, commercial, retail, hospitality, institutional, and healthcare facilities. Wike emphasized that the MOU is designed to ensure strict adherence to agreed timelines and work plans. He warned against land speculation, stating that several people who previously acquired land for mass housing ended up reselling rather than developing it, a practice the administration will no longer tolerate. The Abuja City Walk project will be sited on land originally allocated for the Abuja Technology Village along Airport Road, which has remained idle for over 2 decades. The minister revealed that the project will be executed in phases, with foundation laying expected between July and August. He added that the first phase is scheduled for completion by May 2026, to mark President Bola Tinubu's 3rd year in office. Describing the project as key to the capital's growth, Wike pledged full support for the investor in line with President Tinubu's directive to boost private investment in the FCT. He also disclosed that the administration will provide access roads to ensure work begins immediately. Former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressive Congress, Timi Frank, is calling on President Bola Tinubu to urgently address what he describes as growing allegations of land mismanagement, corruption and abuse of office by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. In a statement issued on Wednesday, Frank cited reports by an online platform, People's Gazette, and comments by Senator Ireti Kinigbe, alleging that Wike has been allocating land to the FCT to political allies and family members at the expense of ordinary citizens and genuine investors. He warned that the continued silence of President Tinubu and anti-corruption agencies could be seen as tactic approval, urging the immediate suspension of the FCT minister to pave the way for an independent investigation. Frank, now an envoy for the United Liberation Movement for West Papua, said the allegations, if proven true, suggest a systemic disregard for due process in the FCT administration. He questioned why Wike appears to be treated differently from other officials recently suspended over corruption-related issues, citing the example of former Humanitarian Affairs Minister Betta Edu. He also criticized the National Assembly and relevant agencies for what he described as a lack of institutional response to the growing concerns. I am Folashayo Adigun.
You're still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. That was the news from our sister station in the capital city of Abuja. I'm now being joined by Ambassador Victor Atewe to discuss issues on the news this afternoon. Welcome, Ambassador, and thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you here. Ambassador Atewe, can you hear me? Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. There's quite a lot of issues to discuss, and frankly, I'll tell you, I do not even know where to begin. But let's begin with what we could call the show of shame that happened on the floor of the Senate yesterday, when the president of the Senate and the Senate leader Bamidele almost came to blows due to what one could call a trivial issue. Now, this issue that sparked tension, was the fact that should they adjourn their current legislative sitting this week or next week, because the Senate is to go on a 2-month recess. This happens traditionally all the time, so they ought to go on a 2-month recess, and they could not agree on if they should adjourn their current legislative sitting this week or adjourn it next week. And one can only, when you think about this, you ask, why would such a flimsy issue explode into such tensions that two revered men, whom people will call honorable, will come to blows? Now, Senator Akpabio Bamidele criticized the Senate president's handling of matters, criticized his leadership, saying, I don't like the way this man leads. And, this is not the first time someone is talking about Akpabio's leadership style. You've heard someone else saying at another time, he treats us like we are slaves. We are all equal on this floor. The same way you are elected is the same way we were elected. What makes our honorables behave so dishonorably on the honorable floor of the Nigerian Senate?
Well, Nigerians are watching. I'll say it, like you rightly mentioned, is a show of shame. And this is not the first time we've had issues like that. Even with the previous Senate, we won't had issues where someone had to, go, steal the mace, and still the mace, and the person became the deputy Senate president. So, but for this one, what makes this really interesting, so to say, is because the current Senate president, Senator Akpabio, is treating the senators as though they are like it still works as if he's a governor and the senators are his commissioners. So he acts as if whatever he says, even from the way he gives his verdict, if you don't align with what he think is right, he automatically cuts you out and he just shuns you. And you've had senators who have at different times and of occasion confronted him and telling him, you don't just shut us out as if we are your boys or we are your puppets. And this had been long coming, because you see, even you hear there was a time, I think Senator Siraki Dixon rightly said that if you don't align with the thoughts of the Senate president or the so-called leaders of the Senate, you automatically you're being disenfranchised from many so-called many will call goodies, and you'll not be you'll not be given what you ought to, or perhaps they will just, maybe when you want to talk on the floor of the Senate, you will not be given attention. So Senator Bamidele coming out to say, I think maybe he has felt the brunt because they've always been on the good side of the Senate president. So him coming out, of course, to voice and what happened yesterday, you could see that it's just as a result of a pile up of issues, and the way the current Senate president is ruling running the Senate is really shameful, and Nigerians are watching. And this is one thing, like the Senate is just like a rubber stamp. Wherever it says goes, and if you think you have a contrary opinion, which is supposed to be allowed, that's why it's called the Senate, where we all are not to agree. We are supposed to disagree to agree. Air my view, you air your view, so we can all come out to a logical conclusion. But for what he's doing now, he's just governing the place as if it's just of course the Senate president, as if is whatever he says is what is law. And when you try to maybe give an opinion or perhaps something contrary, you just come up with he just comes and shun you out, and that is it. To me, it's really not good. It's really a sad one. And Senator Bamidele coming out to say that this is already something that is long coming. So I think he's just feeling the brunt now, and I know that they would definitely come up with. The Senate has they have the right to elect or remove their leader. So I think when that time, if they feel they are not, like you said, they are not. It's not like the way the Senate president is, running the Senate. So they know what to do. They know the right thing to do.
They know what to do. What do you think is stopping them from actually doing that? I want to look at another angle to this particular situation. Like I said earlier, this is not the first time Akpabio has been accused of high-handedness, saying his leadership style is not exactly the best, and that he doesn't treat those in the Senate, he doesn't treat them as his mates, he doesn't treat them as equals. Senator Tony Nwoye literally yelled at him one time saying, "Akpabio, are we your slaves? We are not your slaves. Do you think we are your slaves? You were elected just the same way that we were elected." Quite a number of people have called on President Bola Tinubu to call the Senate president to order, the same way they call on the president to call FCT Minister Wike to order. But let me not digress. We're talking about the Senate president, Godswill Akpabio, right now. Would you say that his leadership style reflects the leadership style of the current administration of President Bola Tinubu if the president does not call him to order when this kind of things happen?
He's doing the beat of the president. I mean, you would agree, as every other Nigerians would, that this current Senate president is one weakened Senate we've ever had since the inception of democracy in the country. And a Senate is a Senate that just automatically just takes whatever is being thrown at from the executive, no question asked, no due diligence, nothing. It's just like a rubber stamp. And of course, they come out to debunk that they're not rubber stamp. They are cooperating and working to make sure that the executive have a smooth run of government. But that's not what democracy is all about. This Senate president acts as if he's a branch of the executive, whereas he's supposed to stand on its own as an arm of government. And that's what we see, and that's as a result of the role the president played in the emergence of the Senate president. So this has come to be, and it's sad. It's sad that we're just playing playing a soft glove with our democratic system, and it's not nice. So of course, you asking, or anybody asking that the president should call him order, call to order, is doing the bit of the executive. So there's nothing to call to order as long as he's satisfying the boss at the top. Everything is good, everything works fine. So if you go contrary, I believe that, like I said earlier, the Senate has the power, to elect, to re-elect, or to impeach or remove its leaders, and if it feels it's not going right. So if they feel that this is not how the Senate should be run, or how they are lawmakers, and they feel that this is not the right way to go, they know what to do, and they'll do it at the right time. If they get tired of the being boxed or being bossed on, or being toys around, and just do as we follow, no question asked. So even they should do it. They know what to do at the right time. So I don't see that as more of an issue, because every Nigerian know what is playing out, but we're just watching. If they continue like they say, if you feel that the injustice that's meted at your neighbor is not coming to you, at one point it will get to you. So they're having their own share.
they are having their own share. You're saying that they're having their own share of what Nigerians are experiencing or what? But
Yes, that's the word. Yes,
talking about doing the bidding of the big man, the House of Reps yesterday approved $347 million loan for the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway and other projects. President Tinubu submitted a request to the floor of the House of Reps saying there's been a hike in the cost of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, the controversial Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Is saying that this new request is part of adjustment to the 2025-2026 external borrowing plan. The total cost of the highway has now risen from $700 million, which a lot of Nigerians felt was on the high side at first, now to $747 million. The president further said that the other $300 million is needed for a universal communication access project. That's a telecommunication initiative to bridge the digital gap. Through they want to deploy 7,000 telecom towers to hard to reach rural dwellings. But before we get into Nigeria's loaning, the borrowings since President Bola Tinubu came into office, some Nigerians will tell you that the rural dwellers, they are not asking for telecom towers. What they're asking for is security. What they're asking for is to be able to use their money to buy food at a cheap rate and not telecom towers. That if this $300 million was actually channeled into basic and social amenities, into education, into better road, into improved welfare, into maternal care, primary healthcare centers, and other amenities, that the people will fare better rather than telecom towers. The people have to be alive and well to make calls and browse the internet.
Forgive me for laughing. It's funny, you know. It's just to show the misplaced priority of our government, and we all know that the Calabar Coastal Highway it's just politically it's a politically motivated project just to satisfy some quotas, and it's sad that we are where we are as a country at this point where Nigerians are suffering. People could barely eat, could barely feed. People are being owed salaries. People are being owed. Contractors are being owed, and people don't even know where to get the next square meal. Nigerians are in serious debts. People can't survive. People are finding how to survive, and you find out that we keep borrowing not for something that is beneficial to the ordinary Nigerians. I mean, what's the excess of budget? I remember way back in school, my teacher always told me that the excess of budget is half food on the table. Regardless of what you try to do or where you budget or you think is, if it doesn't translate to me having food on my table or me having a fairly a fair, well-treated life, then it's of no use. The question is, have you asked yourself, where is the east-west road? Nigeria, there's so many dilapidated roads across. If you're traveling from Abuja or Lagos to wherever, there are a lot of roads that are yet to be fixed. I mean, look at you go to our federal highways. Some of them, I mean, the East-West Road, the Edo District Road. You go there, you shed tears. I mean, it's bumpy all around. There's gallop everywhere. People can barely travel. There's insecurities on the rise. People are dying like other people are being killed every day in this country. And you know, we're losing our gallant soldiers and our security men to different and various kinds of insecurities issues across the country. And here we are borrowing just to fix. I mean, one can just only wonder if these people, if they think or they sit down to think. Yes, I mean, like what he said, it's been captured on the budget. Yes, of course, it's part of what they had to do. This is just a follow-up and to show that things have increased and they need to do it. I mean, in the papers, yes, they will back it up and say, I mean, it's there and they need to fit in so as to borrow more. But the question is that what we need at the moment as a country? Look, your answer is good as mine. So it's just a misplaced priority, I think, and I mean, inflation is on the rise. I mean, things are increasing. Thank God they said it themselves that they had to do it because of the hike in price of things and all that. And then nothing is being done to make sure that at least life for the ordinary Nigerian is seen to be fairly lived. I mean, Nigerians are groaning. Nigerians are going to pains. And nobody seems to see that. And what we hear is, borrow here, they borrow to do this, borrow to construct. If you can't work, or you don't have life, or you're not eating, I mean, how will you be able to apply that road? And when you talk, they'll tell you, I mean, they'll go ahead, it's for the long run, Nigerians will enjoy it. I mean, what is the economic, I mean, Lagos Coastal Highway to Calabar, what are they bringing from Calabar to Lagos? What is being produced from Calabar to Lagos? Or what it's sad. It's sad. And Nigerians just have to brace up. I didn't ask the right questions. Continue to. I mean, this, of course, I'm happy that it's happening. So, whosoever is coming to vie for the seat of the president come 2027, this would, I mean, what Nigerians are going through, I pray, I mean, like they say, Nigerians most times forget history on their short their short memory. So if Nigerians don't think and feel that it's our time, we need to correct the abnormalities and put people who put Nigerians first, not their selfish interest, because we all know that the gigantic project, only God knows the project that been funded by loan, is just to satisfy some quarters. But it's all well and good. I mean, what can we say? What can we do? It has been approved, and of course it will be passed, and of course they will use it. But we can't but only pray that we have a soft landing as a country.
The Nigerians who ought to rise up to the occasion, sadly, some of us are too busy fighting over tribal and the political differences ahead of the 2027 election. The coalition has also come on stream, but quite a number of people said they will not support it because of the men and women that are actually joining this particular coalition. But in this particular conversation, we have some sections of the North say, no, we will not support Peter Obi, even though we want to support Atiku. Then there is the question of who gets this quote-unquote Buharis 12 million votes that he has left and gone to the grave. Who gets it? Does it get divided between Atiku, Obi, Kwankwaso, and Tinubu, or will the Buhari CPC base consolidate behind President Tinubu or behind their own northern candidate, Atiku Abubakar, despite this whole unofficial gentlemanly agreement of 8 years of the North, 8 years of the South? I just want you to answer that for a minute so we can move on in this conversation.
Okay. This ethnic and religious fight, of course, this is just this is really orchestrated by our political class just to divide us. For some quarters that are saying they won't support Peter Obi, I mean, it's just a handful. Of course, the North right now, I feel that they are the one feeling the brunt right now of this administration, and they're feeling it. That's the truth. But as it stands now, the division and the religious division across line, across party, and all that, it's just been orchestrated by the political class to continue to put us in division so they could have their ways. So I don't see the coalition coming and people saying they're not going to support and all that, and the coalition they're working, and of course to see how they can put the house in order to see to challenge the government of the day, as the government of the day too is working to see how they can challenge the coalition. But as it stands, I would just say that Nigeria now, we need to grow above this political and religious argument or divide. We need to break that boundaries, because to be honest, God knows no Christian, knows no Muslim, doesn't know if you are Igbo, you're Yoruba or Hausa. The economic hardship does not know anybody, does not segregate, does not differentiate. We all go to the same market, we buy the same thing. So Nigerians need to brace up and see that this is just a gimmick or a play from the political class to continue to divide us, to have their way. So come 2027, we need to rise up against that, and we need to say, no, we are Nigerians first, regardless of where you're from and all that, and let's put our differences aside and let's work for the greater good of this country. Because if we continue to say, oh, this person is not from the east, is not from the east, so I won't support, or different from the north, so I won't support, trust me, we'll just keep having people we don't want to be there, and which we don't vote for, and because we didn't vote for them, and they'll go there and do whatever they want to do. So that's what we're having. So Nigerians just need to break out from that myopic mindset and that demonized mindset, and let's face the greater good. Because what is the life of a Nigerian worth as of today? Are we going good or better? Are we going good or bad? Nigerians now are like a lot of Nigerians are going backward. So every Nigerian that can feel it. You go on the street of Lagos, you ask questions, everybody will tell you, can't you see? It's even to the blind, you can see it. So everybody can feel it. So, and if we continue to go that line, it's a pity. I mean, we're not going to break out anytime soon from this, from the political hook that we find ourselves.
Quite unfortunate, Ambassador Victor Atewef. And for another 1 or 2 minutes, I want to quickly speak on Nigeria's total public debt, which as at March 2025 stood at 121 trillion naira. If we want to add this whole $347 million, it will be rising $91 billion in public debt. And when you look at the percentage of this money that's actually, all of these monies are borrowed, it's cloaked in to make life better for Nigerians, but are we really seeing the impact? What percentage of all of this borrowing is going towards reducing inflation, is going towards solving the problem of food scarcity, solving the problem of food insecurity, is going towards solving the problem of insecurity that has led largely to food insecurity? Which of this is going towards hospitals, towards healthcare centers, towards maternal mortality rate? Which of this is going towards education? What is the percentage of all of these loans that is actually going towards making the lives of Nigerians better? Because lately, Nigerians are being educated on a lot of previous and current public office holders who have a lot of corruption allegations against them while they were in office, of siphoning millions and billions of public funds that ended up maybe being prosecuted by the Nigerian court. Some of them ended up being arrested by the EFCC. Maybe the charges were dropped. At the end of the day, they joined a particular party. The things are forgiven. And then we don't hear about it anymore. Will it not? Well, Nigerians are hoping it will not turn out to be the same in these cases, because to the average Nigerian, it sounds like audio money, 121 trillion naira. To the average Nigerian, it's like, where I want to see that kind of money. But when we break it down, we can know how many cancer treatment centers 121 trillion naira can build for us in Nigeria. How many schools, how many institutions, how many teachers can be paid from all of these monies?
You see, every nation of the world borrows, but the question is, what is being borrowed for? It's a pity that our borrowing is meant, like I said, is going for capital project, roads, bridges, these. It doesn't translate or not translate into into bettering the life, so to say, of Nigerians, because Nigerians are not feeling it. And there's inflation on the rise, nothing is being done. Nigerians cannot even, go to the market to buy, tomato now. Three tomato or 4 tomato is sold for 2,000 or 5,000, I don't know, I can't remember. So, and these things are on the rise. And it's like you said, it's a pathetic state we are in as a nation. And I believe, like you said, that a lot of politicians who have been alleged to, get our funds here and there, steal our monies, and when they move to the ruling party, their sins are forgiven. It has always been Nigerian state. That is why the citizens need to come out and be involved. We need to be involved in our political system, our leadership, how we choose our leaders, because that's the only way we can change things. Trust me, every Nigerian knows and sees what is happening, but the question is, they're limited because they've weaponized poverty, hunger. Every Nigerian now, the problem of an average Nigerian is, how do I feed my family? How do I feed myself, feed my family? And I don't care whatever happens. So they know this one. So they continue to put us in perpetual poverty, so to say. And by doing that, they cut away with our resources and all. For the little ones, for few of us that are still trying to comment and hold them responsible and give them and make them to be accountable to Nigerians, you just find out that they just come and perhaps maybe just give 1 or 2 reasons and then they move on. And it's in a sorry state we're in. The problems are much, but we can just say that Nigerians need to stand up and get involved. And enough of sitting on the fence, enough of it doesn't concern me, it's not my problem. Because it's a problem when you can no longer change, you can no longer afford the basic necessities of life, where you can no longer go to the hospital, drugs are on the rise, you can no longer take your children to school because you can afford to pay their school fees, you can feed them because the things food prices have gone up over 300%. So when we begin to hold them and call them to questioning, I think they will know that we are going through a lot, and they will begin to come to answer and feel our plight and do what we need them to do.
Ambassador Terry, permit me to come in right here. The United Nations World Food Program has said it's been forced to suspend all its emergency food and nutrition aid for about 1.3 million people in the northeastern part of Nigeria. At the end of this month, they will no longer be able to give aid to internally displaced people, people who don't have food, people who suffer malnutrition, kwashiorkor, and other diseases that actually come with malnutrition and limited access to food. Any food at all, not even just nutritious food. They're saying this is because they have a critical funding shortfall, right? And they also estimate that nearly 31 million people in Nigeria are facing acute hunger. With these kind of numbers, 31 million out of over 200 million people, we're talking about over 15% of Nigeria's population facing hunger. One would think that the government of the day would actually be more interested in feeding the Nigerian population. Food is the fuel of the body. I mean, when you feed people, they will be more, inclined to vote. Would you say that's the reason why it's when the election period is closed, that's when the food trucks roll out?
Exactly, that is what it is. I mean, you see that because they can no longer sustain it, and of course you know that President Trump is withdrawing every foreign aid to every country because he feels that America is spending a lot outside than it should to his people. That's the president that came on about his people. He said Americans first to come first. So you don't be amazed. Come 2026, God keep us alive. When it's a political year and all, you find out that there'll be a lot of food coming out, because these are just their plan. I mean, an hungry man, if you feed him, of course, if you can feed the man, you control what the man's thinking. So you find out that, come next year, ending this year, food start rolling out and people will start, they'll start, and before you know, again, Nigerians being who they are, they'll forget the pains they once had, and before you know, they'll do their bidding. So, the World Food Program, them saying that they're no longer going to be able to continually to fund, their program in the north. For me, I don't even see the effect, because even with that, there's a lot of malnutrition children in the north. There's a lot of hunger. So most of these NGOs are just used to fund only God knows the agenda of the Western world. Of course, that's the
isn't that the more reason why we should be more proactive with feeding our people, so strangers don't come and feed them and carry out other nefarious activities underneath?
Nigeria should be seen to be taking care of West Africa. Nigeria should be seen to be, we are giants. We are blessed with vast lands. We are blessed with our even just your backyard there. You can just plant anything, it grows. So that's to tell you the blessings of God upon this country. But we're under a very serious and a very sorry state of leaders that don't know how to prioritize their own citizens above others. We virtually import everything. We import toothpick. We import everything importable. So that's why the foreign, our so-called, to say, the Western world controls what we do. So that's why we need to prioritize what we do. I mean, that's why you see that a lot of places in the north that our people are supposed to be taking care. I mean, they are known for farming. They made that place ungovernable. I mean, with insecurities and all, people can no longer go to the farm. That's why you see that there's scarcity and the food prices are high. And you continue like this if nothing has been done, and you find out that you find out that 100,000 can't even feed you in a month. And we're already there actually, but when people start feeling it, they will know. You understand the pain. So I just believe that our leaders should focus more inward and prioritize the citizens over their own selfish interest. Until we have that, we're going nowhere.
And we'll continue to hold the government of the day accountable to do that which Nigerians need in order to make life better for the people. Ambassador Victor Atewe, I must thank you so very much for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. I do appreciate your presence, your analysis, your input. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me.
Have an amazing day. You have been listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that 12 people have been killed in Thailand-Cambodia military clashes on disputed border. Zamfara residents stormed street protests, incessant killings by bandits. Akpabio Okwemi nearly exchanged punches during Senate session. And House of Reps approves $347 million loan for Lagos-Calabar Highway and others. That is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM. For coverage of your live event and brand news mentions in our news bulletins, do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Coming up shortly will be Matters with Solomon Ofem.